Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Andree Unfiltered and my third podcast episode here on this podcast. So, as I mentioned in episode number 2, my thoughts on this podcast was to be kind of frequent with weekly uploads. But you can say that it's been the past 2 weeks, and now going into week number 3 with life throwing me curveballs, to say the least. It's just been one of those weeks, when things is just happening, like problems keeps coming up every single day. When I'm waking up, it's a new problem to tackle. And I just did not expect this. So that's why it's been a little lag since I uploaded the last episode. So I thought, what the heck, I'm just going to sit down and talk about this on a podcast episode. So I call this podcast episode When Life Throws You Curveballs, because that's what I've been tackling with ever since Monday, 2 weeks and 2 days ago when this podcast is going up. So I'm not going to go into details so much about what has happened. I'm just going to do a little short background. But this is not what this podcast is about. It's not about my life. It's about more health and mental thinking and positivity and like how to tackle things in life. So I thought it was kind of suitable to talk about how I have been tackling these things, trying to move forward. So one of my dogs had an injury from nowhere. So I had had a surgery, and now it's been some problems after the surgery that I had to tackle. 2 days after, I also had half a tree falling over one of my new built studios. I had some minor injuries on the house, so I was lucky in that way, but I was already very stressed over these trees because they are kind of hanging over my house, so I had to very fast take them down. So that's been a little bit stressful. I still haven't fixed the problems with the house. I have had a heater system in one of my houses broken down. I have it's just been, one of those times when things just keeps happening every single day. You wake up and it's another problem and another problem and another problem to tackle. So I wanted to talk about basically today how you can think when you feel like everything is just happening in the wrong direction in life, because we all have those times. And when I started this podcast 3 weeks ago now, I did not think that I was going to have one of those 2 weeks coming when it's just like going uphill every single day. And to be honest, right now it's kind of heavy to wake up every day and to restart and like, okay, let's tackle the next problem. And it feels like I am basically I'm not moving forward right now. I'm just like doing things to like tackle the fires. And life is like that sometimes for everyone. And I think it's important that we talk about that as well, because life is not only sunshine and roses. And even if I like to talk in a positive way, I also have to enlighten the negative things that are happening and the negative thoughts that I have sometimes, because I do have them. Like every other person on earth has negative thoughts and days, but there are ways to tackle them. And I'm not going to let myself go into a down spiral just because I have negative things happening. So let's break it down to a few steps that I have been taking that you can have in mind whenever life is throwing you some curveballs that you have to tackle. So first of all, I think one major thing is to see the small steps. To see the small steps that you're taking when you have big problems can be a life savior. And that has been for me now this past weeks, when it's kind of big things happening. It's kind of big things I have to deal with. And in this case, things that are costing a lot of money, because if you're not living in Sweden, the vet costs in Sweden are crazy expensive, like crazy expensive. And when things are like this are happening and you need to have a surgery that you didn't plan on, it can kind of add up on your bank account, to say the least. And on top of that, it was a lot of other expensive things that I did not count on in my budget, like the heater system, like the tree falling down, taking down the trees. It's also super expensive. So when big things like this are adding up to big problems, it can be very important to see the small steps, to see that you have been taking a step. It can be a small step like booking the vet appointment, or like I'm taking in my cases now, or book to take down, like I need to take down like 20 trees, but I have been taking down 2 trees now, the 2 that were the most dangerous for me, and I am going to put the other ones on hold for now. But to see and trying to see the small steps instead of just seeing the big picture when you have a lot of problems or a lot of heavy things happening in your life, and acknowledge these small steps as they are very important. That is a very important step, and that's been a very important step for me past this 2 weeks now, to actually lighten up the small steps that I have been taking, and to tackle the big problems with small steps, and not only seeing the big picture with the big problems, and giving yourself some cred for it as well. Like, you cannot tackle everything at once. You have to sometimes piece it up into smaller pieces to digest it, and in order to tackle the problem. So that leads me into the second thing, that is to do something small every day, even if it feels really hard. So when you have hard times, I have had days now when I feel like I just want to stay in bed. I don't want to go up. I just feel tired, and I just want to try to hide from the problems. But that is just going to make everything more heavy the next day. So you don't gain anything from hiding away. Even if you just do something really small, do something every day. If you have hard time, if your life is throwing you curveballs, if life is giving you a hard time, if life is giving you a lot of problems and a lot of challenges, just try to tackle something small every single day. Even if it's something like you feel really heavy opening up your email or something like that, just open up 10 emails or 5 emails or even 1 email. Like, do something, because if you are putting 1 foot ahead, that will lead to more steps. So if you are taking no steps, you are just going to feel even more bad that day. So that is a really important thing, to do something small every single day, even if it feels really hard in life right now. It's not going to do you any favor to do nothing for a full day. And I'm not saying that you're going to stress out and like do things from the morning till the evening. I'm just saying, even if you want to have a day when you do absolutely nothing, if you feel super stressed about a lot of things, it's just going to stress you even more to do absolutely nothing for a full day. So take the time, even if it's something really small, to do something every day when life feels really hard. That's going to help you a lot, I promise you. And don't forget to give yourself credit for the things that you actually get done, because that's also very easy to blame yourself for the things that you did not do that day. If you have a lot of things that you have to do, a lot of problems that you have to tackle, it's very easy to give yourself a really hard time for everything that you did not get done that day. So take a little breather before you go to bed or during the day, and give yourself some cred for the things that you actually tackled. Even if they are the smallest things, you have to give yourself cred for it, because even if there are small problems, it's still one step ahead. If you're moving in the right direction, you should give yourself cred for it, and stop batching yourself for all the things that you did not do. That's not going to move you in the right direction. That's not going to give you any positive feedback. That's not going to give you anything positive. But if you give yourself some cred for the things that you have been doing, it's going to motivate you to even maybe take more steps or do more things tomorrow. So give yourself some credit. I cannot stress that enough for the things that you get done. And something that I feel is really helpful when I feel like I am out of control, when I feel like things are just happening, and that's how I've been feeling lately. It's not something that I am actually doing or anything. It's just things that are happening that is completely out of my control system. I cannot control that a tree is falling over my house. I could not control or do anything about the injury that happened to my dog. I cannot control these things, and there are a lot of things that has been happening. The heater system breakdown, that is not in my control. So when you feel like life is just happening and things are just happening and you cannot control anything, I feel like sometimes it's helpful to control something, like something you can control, even if it has nothing to do with your problem at the time. For me, if I control something, I feel like I am more in control. And this, for example, can be okay, life is right now really stressful and really problematic, but I can control my diet, or I can control my work hours, or I can control going to the gym every day, or I can control that I am taking a walk with my dogs every morning, or find something that you can control in the stressful times can make you feel like you have control over something, and just not everything is happening to you without having control of anything. That is something I feel is very helpful when I just feel like I cannot control anything. And for me, it's been now, I am trying to manage some hours during the day when I'm controlling and making things like being productive, and okay, I am going to have at least a certain amount of hours every day when I'm not tackling problems, when I am in control over the time, and I am going to do a productive thing. In my case, it's been for my social medias. And I wanted to control my workouts. Actually, this past 2 weeks, I have only been to the gym twice. And the reason is because I haven't been able to leave my dog. I have had an eye on him, making sure that he's not doing any more harm to himself. So I haven't been able to have a workout routine. That's something usually that I, in the stressful times, have the thing that I can control. But otherwise, just to find something, it can be a routine or anything that you feel like, okay, this is something I am in control over, that can make you feel like you are more in control overall, when it feels like everything is just happening to you and you just are completely out of control. And then one thing that is, it's basically something that I am telling myself every day, and I'm telling people around me many times and most of the times, but to be thankful for the things that you have and for the small things. And I take a moment every single day to be thankful for something. Most of the time I'm very thankful for my dogs and for my house, and that's also why it's so painful when things are happening to my dogs or my house. I am also many times thinking about how thankful I am that I have a healthy body. Many people are actually not thankful for being able to go into the gym, or for having a healthy body, or for not being sick until they get sick or injured. That's when they are thinking about how thankful they were when they were not injured or not sick. So I think to take some time to be thankful for even the smallest things in life, and especially when life feels hard and problematic, then it's even more important to point out the things that you can actually feel gratitude towards and thankfulness for. So that is something that I would recommend to implement in your life on a daily basis, thankfulness. To find small things that you are thankful for, and it can be the most ridiculous things, the smallest things. Most of the time when I'm going into the grocery store and buying groceries, I'm so thankful that I can buy whatever I want in the grocery shop, because I know not all people can do that. Not all people have that luxury of being able to go into the grocery store and buy whatever they want, and they know that they can afford it. And that's something that I am very thankful for. And it can sound like a small thing, but for me, it's not a small thing. I did not always have it like that. I have never had poverty. Like, I have always had food on the table, but I've had times when I was not able to just buy whatever I wanted in the grocery store. And I am very thankful. And I think about that almost every time I'm going in the grocery store now. Even though it's been so many years where I haven't had to think about what I can and cannot afford, but still, why shouldn't I be thankful for that? Because it's something that I appreciate in life. So implement small days, like small times throughout the days, where you actually take a moment just to think about something you are thankful of. Or if you're just doing something that you appreciate a lot, just take a few seconds to think about like how thankful you are that you can do those things. It's such a small thing to do and a small habit to implement in your life, but it's giving so much back. Because if you feel like you have small things throughout the day that you're thankful of, it's very much easier to tackle problems and to tackle life in general, and to tackle things that are happening to you in a negative way. Everything cannot always be positive, but sometimes it's important to just take out these small pieces, like the chocolate in the cookie, and actually see it for what it is. And life is not always dark or always bright. It's a lot of the time in the middle zone, which means it's a mix of dark and bright, which means there are things to be positive about and thankful about. Meanwhile, it can at the same time be things that are very hard in life. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So to give yourself a little feedback on things that you appreciate in life, that's going to help you a lot. And that's not only when life is problematic, that's in general. And that's something that I do without thinking about it, honestly. I think I do it every single day, multiple times during the day. I can tell my dogs, like, I'm so grateful I have them, and my life would be so boring without them. And I'm so thankful for the time that I have with them. And yeah, I can just take a breather sometimes and just look at the things I have and be like, I'm very thankful that I have accomplished what I have done so far, even though I have big dreams and I have things that I want to achieve and I have goals and everything, but that doesn't mean that I cannot be thankful for the things that I have and the small steps that I've been taking so far. Something that is going to help you a lot. So if you're not already implementing that in your life, try and start, and it will feel very weird at the beginning, but once it becomes a habit, you're going to understand what I mean. It's really going to help you a lot in life in general. Yeah. So then I was thinking about like the point of not giving up if you want to overcome a challenge. And I think that's not maybe something I don't even have to mention, because it's like everyone knows this. Like, you have to keep struggling. Even if things are hard, you're not going to move forward if you are giving up. So, but at the same time, I kind of have to say it because it's kind of the punchline to everything when it comes to motivation, to not give up, to not give up, to not give up. But honestly, if we give up, we have nothing. We have to move forward in life, because if we're not moving forward, we are moving backwards in life. There are almost no standing still in life. We have to move forward and not give up. Because if we give up on our dreams, or if we give up on a challenge, we give up on ourselves. And especially if we have problems that are happening in life, if we have a problem and we are giving up and not tackling the problem, we are basically moving backwards, because the problem is throwing you backwards. And if you're not moving forward, if you're giving up, life basically throw you backwards and you're not getting anywhere. So not giving up is very important. That doesn't mean you have to tackle and solve everything at once, or everything at the same time, or everything like right now. It can take time, and some problems takes a lot of time, and some problems you have to be thrown backwards in order to move forward again. But that means like not giving up means like even if you're taking a few steps back, if you're not giving up, that means you're going to take them forward again, and then take 4 more steps forward. And then at the end of the day, you are 4 steps ahead instead of 4 steps backwards. So never give up. Even if there are problems to tackle, if you don't give up on yourself, and don't give up on your dreams, and don't give up on the problems that you have, instead you have to move forward. It's going to get you to whatever you want to go in life. So these are the things that I have tackled this past weeks. And just honestly, I have had days this past weeks when I just wake up and I feel like, what is it now? Because it's been basically a new problem. And when big things are happening in life, even the small problems feels like they are like overwhelming. And that's how I felt even when small things are happening. Like the first day after my dog injured himself, I woke up. He injured himself on a Monday. On the Tuesday, I woke up and we had got 0.5 meter of snow overnight. I could not even open my front door. Like literally, I could not open it. I had to go out in my back door and like get myself down to my garage to get a shovel in order to like scoop myself out of the house and to get the dogs out. And then that wouldn't have been a big problem for me if that was just that happened. But on top of that, I had the stress that I had a dog inside of the house that had not been going to the toilet for almost 24 hours because he got injured and he was afraid to go out. So I was stressed that I need to shovel myself and him out of the house and get the snow out of the way in order for me to get him out. Like I got stressed over something that was not so stressful because it was a bigger problem in the back seat. And sometimes when you have bigger things hanging on your shoulder, small things feels really heavy. And that's how it's been for me this past week. So like small things has happened, and then a big thing is happening, and then another small thing is happening the same day, and then another small thing the day after. And those feels really heavy to carry when you have already these big things to carry. But never give up. Do something small every day. See the small steps and give yourself credit for the small steps. Balance and control something if you feel like everything is out of control, and be thankful. That's going to move you a long way. And that's what's moving me right now. Even the days when I wake up and I'm like, I just don't want to open my eyes and see whatever problem I need to tackle today, because I haven't even finished to tackle the problems that happened to me yesterday and the day before that and the week before that. But that's life sometimes. And we all live life. And we all have problems to tackle in life. And it's just a matter of how you learn to tackle the problems and to tackle life in general. That's going to be the end outcome on how everything is feeling. Like happiness is not a destination. It's whatever you make out of this journey that we call life. So, but that's, I think, is a topic for a completely different episode. That's a topic for itself, the topic of happiness. I have my special view of it, but yeah, I think I'm going to talk about that specifically in an episode in the future. But yeah, this was not an episode that I planned on doing. As I said, this is very unfiltered, and I'm not editing or anything. It's just me sitting down, talking on topics that are on top of my head. I have been writing down some talking points, like some topics that I want to have for future episodes. This was not one of them, but I just felt like I wanted to sit down and talk a little bit about what's happening in my life this past weeks and how I have been tackling it, because that's kind of what this pod is about, right? So thank you so much for tuning in with me for today's episode number 3. I am very excited about this podcast. And yeah, if you did not know, I have other social medias as well. This is just one of my media blogs, the podcast thing that I just started. So I'm learning, and I try to fix the mic settings a little bit. I hope this is going to be a little better audio, because I was not super happy with the audio in the 2 previous podcasts. So I hope it's going to be a little bit better, but I am learning and I am experimenting, and I'm very happy that you want to be a part of it. So anyway, this is it. We're going to summarize it for today's episode. Check out my other media blogs if you're interested to see a completely different version of Denise, as I'm not talking about so much what's in my head, but other things. So go and check it out. Otherwise, I hope I'm going to see you, or that we're going to tune in on my next episode. And yeah, take care, everyone. Bye.